Okay, so hello everyone. Um, a few people have just said it's Epiphany today, 6th of January, and that feels really relevant actually, because I feel like I'm in Epiphany all over really. It's been a really powerful Christmas and New Year, and I feel this next gene key activation, gene key 55, it moves from victimization to, it has both the gift and the city of freedom. It's really at the heart of, firstly, my journey in my earlier life when I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, and then I worked in mental health for many years, and kind of seeing in myself and in other people how feeling like a victim kind of really shapes you in a powerful way. And finding freedom from that has been such a long journey through my life. And meeting the gene keys has really helped. This particular gene key, I would say, is one of the main gene keys that's really helped me in my life. And yeah, it's even though I'd done a lot of recovery work by the time I started doing the gene keys 7 years ago, I was shocked actually, when I was really honest, at how much of my inner narrative and what I said to other people was from a victim point of view. And so this gene key has really helped me to see my own narratives in a way, around my family, around the culture I live in, the culture that I grew up in South Africa. And I think the thing I want to say is that so many people in the world are victims on something. You know, it's very rare to find a person in this world of inequality and oppression and violence and sexual violence who has not been a victim at some time. And and how do we go from there, that place of really being a victim, perhaps experiencing real trauma as well. So you can't just say, oh, I'm not going to be a victim anymore, because it's kind of encoded. The shock in your body is encoded there, and gets triggered when things happen. And so I've sort of taken many strategies actually, but we'll kind of stick with astrology and the gene keys today. So as far as the gene keys go, is really working on freedom. I want freedom from these inner fears kind of getting me down, entangling me, creating havoc in my life, feeling like I'm not reaching my potential. I want freedom from that. And I expend a lot of attention and energy on bringing myself into a state of freedom. And one of the ways I do that is not to wait for it to hit me, but to take proactive steps. So I do a lot of walking, which is something I love. I spend a lot of time in nature. I pay a lot of attention to my friendships and healing family wounds, and I do yoga practice as well. So daily meditation with this wonderful group that some of you are part of here. And all these things contribute to like a sense of wellness with life. And so when something does hit and all those victim stories and feelings are triggered, then I feel like I've got this integrity and scaffolding somehow to help me deal with that. Um, So we went through this Venus moon gate. Venus is in the ascending cycle, the evening star cycle, you might remember. And this was at the sixth chakra. It's the sixth Venus moon gate. So it was an activation of the third eye, like our ability to see more clearly what is going on. And in the 55. And so the 55, I think, is very good for this chakra because it's all about how we see what's happened, you know, whether it's in the past or whether it's happening right now. And so I would really challenge you as well, anyone watching this, to really think about what it is that you're saying to yourself and what it is you're saying to others. And I always feel the feeling of the victim come upon me, like it's like, ooh, you know, it's like a diminishing sort of energy. I feel it. And so I can't stop it happening, but I can definitely move it on very quickly now. And I think it's, you know, I was thinking about this yesterday. My partner was showing me an image of a crow that kind of lay down and pretended to be dead, and it was like it had its mouth open. It was like doing the victim thing. And so I think you know, the victim role has an evolutionary role, you know, with all animals. That maybe helps us survive when there's a threat. If we become weaker, the stronger thing may not attack us then, or it might even feel sorry for us and want to take care of us. And that's definitely a pattern I have played out and am aware of, you know, with my male partner is, you know, if I cry, it tends to dissolve the tension. But I guess if it's not spontaneous and it kind of goes too far, it becomes manipulation. So it's kind of a fine line there. And as we went through this gate, I'm going to show you some of the astrology shortly. It was really fascinating because we've worked so hard in this relationship I'm in on these patterns. I call them old gender patterns, really. And so they're there for so many people in the world. And if you don't have them, great. But most of us do have some kind of deeply encoded ways of relating as male and female. That this 55, I feel, is one of the main gene keys that is got the potential to change that. So if I think about, so let me keep trying to tell the story and losing track of it. So this new year, I've just seen an extraordinary amount of people. My own family is very small and quite difficult dynamics. But went to see them a bit under duress, really, and not really expecting anything great to happen. And then there were various people in my partner's family, his extended family, and his own brothers. So I met like a huge amount of people. And I think because I wasn't in any kind of victim mindset, I could almost just relax and go with the flow of what happened in all those interactions. And actually there were some quite challenging things, particularly with my own family. But because I was in this kind of headspace of, you know, I choose my freedom, and so I'm choosing to be here is actually part of my freedom to choose. And so I'm not here out of a duty. I'm here because I've chosen to come and try and make these relationships better than they are at the moment. Before we all die and leave this planet, that's what I'm going to do. And you know, we've both come back, and it was this incredible like weaving of relationships and magical things happening. And I think this is the promise of what happens when we get out of the shadow, because I think it's a really hard one. This one has been for me, but there is this promise, and I promise you it's real on the other side, that there's this incredible weaving of love and goodwill that somehow overtakes this initial pattern of being a victim of it all. And yeah, so I'm interested, when we've done this, we'll have a conversation to see how this gate was for you. Normally, as you know, we do the gate beforehand, but Venus is speeding up, and so we weren't able to do it before the actual gate, which was on the 3rd of January. And it doesn't matter if you did something on the exact date, because we've got a month now to actually work with this 55 energy. So I'm going to share this. And just to say as well, the 55 in the gene keys, the 55 and the 22 are really important gene keys. And so there's quite a lot of free stuff on the 55. If you look on SoundCloud under Gene Keys or Richard Rudd, you will find the part of the book that's the 55 is quite a long bit of the book, but he reads it, and it's really powerful. It's in 3 separate segments, and yeah, I mean, I think just everyone in the world needs this, because you know, it feels, on a bigger political level, it sometimes feels like everything is kind of so out of our control, all the things that are going on in the world, and this feels like it can really help us take responsibility for that. Okay, so Venus Moon Gate, it's at 0 degrees Pisces, 36 minutes. So if you have anything in this part of the chart, then it's activated by this Venus Moon Gate. As I say, it took place on the 3rd of January in 55 line 1, and it moves from victimization to freedom as gift and freedom as siddhi. So always begin with a gift, but the siddhi can be, the siddhi is like right there. Some people say I'm miles away from the siddhi, but the siddhi can be actually like a slither away from you, and you don't really know how close it is. So just keep bringing yourself out of the victim. That's the thing to notice. Okay, so there's some really interesting things going on in this chart that are also markers for the whole year ahead of us. And so I'm going to run some of them past you, and then we'll also have further, as we go through January, February, March, maybe as well. There's a lot interesting going on. I'm going to go into more depths of what's happening. So here is the Venus Moon Gate. You can see there 0 degrees of Pisces. And this first degrees of Pisces are gene key 55. Each gene key, it takes up 6 degrees of the zodiac, and this is where gene key 55 falls. Okay, so I've talked quite a lot about that. Now, there were some really other powerful things as we went through Christmas and the New Year. Depending on what's in your own chart, you may have had some powerful feelings of this. I was quite worried, actually, because me and my partner have very close and powerful conjunctions with this Pluto-Mars opposition that happened. But actually, because we were by and large in the gift frequency, you then get the gift from the transit. But yeah, Mars opposing Pluto can be all about power dynamics. And I certainly saw power dynamics, but I wasn't kind of pulled into them maybe in a way I might have been when I was younger. Okay, so here we have Mars went retrograde, and so it went in an opposition over Pluto before Christmas time, and then it came back again opposite. So the retrograde is going to be more powerful as it opposes Pluto because it's really digging over old ground as that happens, and old corruptions and abuses. So really exactly the kind of energy that presses the victim button, if I think about it, is activated by the Pluto-Mars opposition. But here we have one of the goddess asteroids down here at the bottom, which is Vesta, at 0 degrees of Scorpio. So these are all fixed signs here. And at 90 degrees, Vesta, the priestess, is challenging us, I feel, to use our powerful intention and will to change these old patterns and dynamics. And we've certainly seen them in the world as well. If you haven't got them in your personal life, I can't look at, everywhere you go, there's Elon Musk and Donald Trump, and it's just like all these kind of energies of the world are really kind of pushing all these buttons. And we're going to be doing one of our first sessions in this year will be on Vesta, who is conjunct Haumea, the goddess of rebirth, in Gene Key 50, which is all about equilibrium and harmony. So I'm feeling Vesta as one of our key goddess asteroids this year, which is great because someone here had actually already asked me to do Vesta. So I'm like, yes, perfect. That will get us off to a good start. So a couple of other things, and I'm going to go into these more in other classes, but we have Liberator Uranus opposing Juno and Estrella. So this is about freedom in the masculine, feminine, freedom in relationships. And there's also an exact kind of connection with Mercury there. So this is something we're going to do. And there's also a connection here with Chiron is continuing to travel with Hygeia. So there's a huge healing portal that is open to us this year. You'll notice there's a lot going on at 0-1 degrees. The north nodes at 1 Aries and the south node 1 Libra. So this is the beginning, a new cycle of the zodiac, very powerful activation in that 1 degree Aries. And this is Gene Key 25. And there's, it's funny, it's 2025 because there's so many activations of Gene Key 25 this year. So that will be something I'll be doing more on as well as we go along. And if you're in the Venus journey, the next Venus star point is going to be in the 25. So it's a big energy in the Venus cycle and in the Neptune cycle. Neptune's heading towards Gene Key 25 as well. Okay, so one final thing is today the Sun is conjunct Pallas Athena in Capricorn. So this to me is like, as we went through this gate, we've got Vesta, who's use our intention, use our divine will to change things. But we've also got Pallas Athena with the sun. So she in Capricorn, she creates the new world, the new civic world, the new structures of the world. She's very practical, she's very persistent as well. So this is a great energy imprint for this gateway, and we can use this, bring ourselves back to this the whole year, this like persistent step by step of Capricorn, that goat climbing the hill, overcoming all obstacles. And it's such a great antidote for the victim, really, because I'm going to talk about, I wrote a few things down about the antidote to the victim. So I didn't think of this in Capricorn, but perseverance, just take a step or a few steps every day in the right direction as that mountain goat climbing the hill. So another thing I find really useful to contemplate is that many of us might feel that we're in a kind of bodhisattva calling in this lifetime. And so we have agreed to enter a world of suffering, to heal ourselves, our family, our culture through our own life journey. So immediately you see yourself as a bodhisattva and you've entered this spiritual contract willingly, then you're no longer a victim. You are an active participant and healer of all the things you feel a victim of, are the things that you are here to heal, basically. So it's a really powerful way to turn life on its head, is to think that. And you might think, well, I'm nowhere near a bodhisattva, but it doesn't matter really, because and even if you never made that vow, you can go down that road yourself and make sense of your journey through life. Anyway, I like that idea, and it kind of works for me. Another really powerful, just like one worder, was 4-worder actually, is awaken to being blessed. A friend gave me this on a bit of paper, and she'd made a lovely little print, and she gave this to all her friends before Christmas. And I took 3 actually, and I've put them all over my house. So I wake up and I look at this, awaken to being blessed. Because whenever we feel like a victim, we're also in this contracted mode. We can't see the good in our lives. We can't see the thing, the glass is half empty rather than the glass being half full. So awaken to being blessed is like that. The glass is half full and might even be overflowing. So I find that really useful. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of what I'm going to be doing, I've got 2 courses starting in January. One is the 5 Octaves of Lilith, which I'm doing with Bella Crystal on the Unlock Your Design platform. So it's like a human design gene keys course. And then I'm also going to be doing a Celtic Mysteries and Grail Quest course, also connected with the gene keys, with Matthew Ashdown. So those are both starting in January. I'll be beginning a 40-day meditation for universal love on Soul Tribe in February. So this is the classes on Soul Tribe. Next week, we'll be doing the Radiance Key in the Dream Arc activation sequence. Then I'll be doing Gene Key 25 activations for 2025. And our next Venus Moon So if you're only doing that, take note of this date will be January 27th. And so, yeah, it's on the 2nd, I think it's the 2nd of February is the actual date. So we're going to do the astrology before we get there. Okay, and I think that's it for my sharing. I've only just got back yesterday, so I'm kind of in a bit of chaos here. But I will let you know when we're going to do like the proper sharing for the Venus moon gates. But we've got some time now. We've got half an hour actually, so maybe we'll just do it now. We'll see. We'll see how far we get. But yeah, I can. I'm going to stop recording now.